So you're saying it doesn't matter if there's civilians on the way, we can still go and...
It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you choose, if your method of fighting Israel is by hiding behind civilians, then that doesn't make Hamas immune to getting attacked by Israel, by the IDF. Even
Yeah,
if the use of
100%, I agree with you. It doesn't make them immune, but that also doesn't give you the moral right to go and just kill civilians and the Hamas members at the same time.
hello.
Georgia. Oh my God, bro, is majestic.
As they say,
Your camera is so clear. What's going on? Well, you got to be famous. What do you do?
I do streaming.
Amazing. What do you stream?
I stream about Israel-Palestine.
Oh, right. Which side of the fence are you?
Israel.
Why?
Are you asking because you support Palestine?
Yeah.
We had a good connection at the beginning. Chaval, it's a shame. Why do you support Palestine? Tell me.
Well, besides they're the same religion as me, I support Palestine in this case specifically because of the killing of innocent people.
Okay, you think that innocent people didn't die in Israel when they invaded Israel on October 7th?
No, surely they did. Yeah, surely they did. And I don't support that either.
No,
I do not support Hamas or anything.
What would have happened if they would not have invaded? How many people would have been alive today?
If they have not been invaded.
If Israel would not have been invaded by Hamas?
I'm not sure. How many?
Nobody would be dead. Everybody would be alive. The civilians in Israel and the civilians in Gaza. So who do you blame for what's happening currently to the people of Gaza?
Surely you can say Hamas.
Of course.
But again, don't you think what's happening now is a bit too aggressive? Like we're having a lot more civilians than the actual Hamas members being murdered for something that they haven't done.
How did you get to that number? How can you say a lot more civilians than
the numbers, stats?
What are the numbers? What are the numbers?
I'm not sure what the numbers are, but it's surely over 100,000 at least.
According to the Gaza Health Ministry, which is Hamas run, there's 55,000 people that are currently dead in Gaza since the beginning of the war. Israel claims that they killed 20,000 Hamas members out of the 55,000. So that leaves us with 35,000. Another
How do they know they killed whatever number you just mentioned?
Because they target Hamas members. That's how they know.
They target Hamas members?
Yes. If I target specific people, I know how many people I'm killing because I'm targeting them.
Okay. And if you can target specifically Hamas people, why is there so many civilians being killed or murdered?
Because they embed themselves within civilian populations like hospitals and churches and schools and tunnels.
And do you not care about the civilians?
I do care about the civilians, but does that dictate that we are not allowed to fight Hamas if they hide behind civilians? Of course not.
No, but you can use other ways to kind of fight Hamas. You can do
what ways?
You can do operations. You can go on ground.
We're on ground. We have soldiers on ground in Gaza as we speak. We're on ground.
Yeah, but those same soldiers are actually shooting civilians.
Really?
I've seen videos.
You've seen videos? Have you seen?
Yes.
Have you seen any videos of people purposefully shooting kids?
Not specifically kids as evidence, no.
Kids or civilians on purpose without having any context if those civilians are Hamas or not Hamas? Because Hamas doesn't wear uniforms. Violation of international law, by the way. You're a combatant. You're supposed to wear uniforms.
What, Hamas doesn't wear uniform? Is that what you said?
Yes, Hamas doesn't wear uniforms. They embed themselves within civilians, so you don't know if they're Hamas or civilian. And then if a Hamas member that's just like a civilian is killed, then people say, look, Israel killed a civilian. How convenient.
But how would you know if it's a Hamas member or a civilian? You can't just shoot spree and just pray it's one of the Hamas members.
If the person is shooting at me with an AK-47, is he a Hamas member?
The person who's, what do you mean?
The person who is shooting at the IDF soldier with an AK-47, is he a civilian or is he a combatant? What is he?
Has to be a Hamas member. It wouldn't be a civilian for sure.
Perfect. So it doesn't matter if he wears uniform or civilian clothing because we can tell he's a Hamas member. That's why we're going to kill him.
That's justified. If you're talking in self-defense where the IDF is being attacked, then yeah, fair enough. But I've seen videos of just one of the videos. I'm not sure if I can say this online. I don't want to get bananaed, but I've seen a video of just a lady wearing her hijab walking across the road and boom, got shot for no reason.
Do you see the soldiers? Do you see the soldiers shooting them physically?
not on the video frame.
So that's the problem. We have no context to this video, so people can just claim the IDF shoots them. Why can't you believe that a terrorist organization would shoot their own people to increase the cause of the Palestinian people, saying that they're just being sacrificed by the Israelis? I mean, it's absurd. People just look at it and say, "Oh yeah, look, it's the IDF," with no context whatsoever, no proof that the IDF shot them. Yet people just jump to conclusions. That's
but that goes exactly against their agenda. Like the whole reason why Hamas exists is to resist the occupation. To resist that. That's the whole point onto why they exist. It's a whole movement against just Israel. And not the Israeli people, it's the Israeli government. They want to claim Palestine back.
That's what you think is their cause, is their purpose. Their purpose is to maximize.
Everybody thinks.
It's to maximize civilian casualties as much as possible, to demonize and dehumanize Israel as far as possible, as big as possible, as great as possible. And it's working pretty well. Look at what you're saying. You're saying, I am on the Palestinian side because a lot of children and civilians are dying. It's an atrocity that people are dying, but this is a war that they started. Are you on the side of, do you have any idea about the other conflicts around the world where children are dying like flies? Like the Syrian civil war, where 300,000 children died by their own Muslim brothers and sisters? Nobody advocated for them. Nobody advocated for them because it's Muslims versus Muslims. But it's when it's Jews trying to free their Jewish hostages and Arab hostages from Hamas captivity, all of a sudden it's a genocide. All of a sudden we target civilians. You want to fight fairly? Perfect. Don't hide within civilian populations. That way, less civilians are going to die. Because Israel takes whatever measure they can to minimize civilian casualties by pamphlets, leaflets, text messages, phone calls, setting up humanitarian corridors. We do it. I served in the IDF. I know the morality of this organization. I know it. So
you're saying it doesn't matter if there's civilians on the way. We can still go and.
No, it's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if your method of fighting Israel is by hiding behind civilians, then that doesn't make Hamas immune to getting attacked by Israel, by the IDF. Even if they use
100%, I agree with you. It doesn't make them immune, but that also doesn't give you the moral right to go and just kill civilians and the Hamas members at the same time, because there's people that haven't done anything. Like attacking hospitals. How can you justify attacking a hospital?
Muhammad Sinwar, the cousin of Yahya Sinwar, one of the Hamas leaders in Gaza, was just was found dead after the IDF killed him, hiding in a tunnel under the European hospital in Rafah.
How did they find out he's hiding behind
because they killed him in a tunnel under a hospital, and then they showed the hospital, literally tilted their phone down, and a tunnel pier was just peeping out of the ground with the place that they killed him, right under a hospital. That's what I mean when I say they use human shields. That's the purpose.
How did they kill him?
With a gun.
I don't know about this, so I'm asking you.
Yeah, I don't know if with a gun. I think they bombed the tunnel.
But aren't they on ground for operations? Why can't they just go in there?
Because you never know if the tunnels are booby trapped. What do you mean? You want to risk your own soldiers?
I see. That still doesn't justify killing civilians in the hospital, bro.
What do you mean killing civilians in the hospital? You think the IDF just goes inside the hospitals and shoots civilians? What intention would they have?
They don't go in hospitals, and that's the problem. They're just bombing it.
But if you know that according to the Geneva Convention, according to international law, it is perfectly allowed to make a hospital a military target if it's used for acts harmful to the enemy. That's according to the Geneva Convention and international law. If you use a church, school, kindergarten as acts against humanitarian, then it is a legitimate military target. So if that's what humanitarian law says, why do people still oppose it? If Hamas uses it as a military base to hide their weapons, to go inside their tunnels, that's using it for acts harmful to the enemy. What would you have done?
Well, it is a sticky situation. So what do you think? What do you reckon should happen? Besides, well, obviously you can't say why would civilians oppose and go to hospitals, because Hamas are saying that, well, it's needed, right? There's casualties, there's people who are injured who would need the hospital.
For sure.
Right? And there's limited hospitals because the majority have been destroyed. I don't know if there's a functioning hospital at the moment.
4.
But how would you...
There's 4 functioning hospitals at the moment.
So what do you think the solution for that would be from your point of view as an ex-IDF member, and you've seen things on ground as well?
Very simple, and I think you would agree with me. The first one, release the freaking hostages that are still in Gaza for more than 600 days. 600 days we have hostages in Gaza. Hostages that didn't do anything, just taken from their homes, taken from a party, and they're found dead and alive inside Gaza. First of all, release them. Release the hostages. Second of all, Hamas needs to surrender Hamas needs to surrender because you think that their point is to resist Israel. That is bullshit. Their point is to kill as many Jews as possible and annihilate Israel. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Okay,
it's not to resist.
Yeah,
anything.
this is between Israel and Hamas. I'm talking about how can civilians help themselves?
Protest against Hamas. Give intelligence where Hamas is. Help the IDF eradicate Hamas and release the hostages. These are the only two terms to end the war.
And are they getting the resources or any guidance on that?
Of course. Do you know that there's a unit inside Gaza right now deployed by the IDF with Gaza militants fighting against Hamas from within? We give them weapons. We give them whatever they need to fight Hamas from within. We give them whatever they need in order to make this threat go away. But if the civilians of Gaza, and by the way, they protested against Hamas a few times already. Some people were killed by Hamas after they protested because it's not allowed to speak against Hamas. The best way to do something, the best way to actually eliminate Hamas is with the civilians from inside to destroy this disgusting regime. Disgusting. Because of them, people are dying. Because of them, people are starving. Because of them, because of Hamas. That's all.
Okay.
Bro. You know?
What do you have to say about journalists not being allowed in Gaza?
I mean, we all know what's going to happen to journalists under Hamas's control. If you report anything like this and this, you know what's going to happen to you.
No, I'm not talking about local ones. I'm talking about international ones.
It's exactly what I'm talking about. We see the damage that the BBC and the CNN do to us from outside. What do you think is going to happen from the inside? What do you think is going to happen? They're always driven by money. These people are always driven by money. And you see a very specific agenda being reported by CNN, very specific agenda being reported by BBC. You see it. By Reuters. You see it by The Guardian. You see it by all these. What do you think that's going to happen once they're going to be inside?
What about those who aren't motivated by money? Like the 12 people that have made their way to Gaza and they were intercepted.
You don't think that there's a safety issue for them if they go inside Gaza and they get killed by Hamas? Then people will say, look, Israel kills reporters. Don't you think that's going to be the case?
Why would Hamas shoot them if they know they're going to be documenting things in Gaza and they can use that for their advantage? But that wouldn't happen.
Why are we putting any rational on Hamas at all? Hamas just killed their own civilians for taking aid that they deserve. They wrote on their backs thieves and killed them and filmed everything and posted it. Why do we put any rationale on these people? They're not rational people. They're terrorists. If you want the best for the people in Gaza, then you should advocate for Hamas to be removed and dismantled, and you should advocate for the hostages to be released, because for 600 plus days, that's all we've been saying. We've been saying, release the hostages, Hamas surrenders, the war stop like this right now. But everybody's so darn busy on focusing on Israel all the time. It's Israel's fault. It's Hamas's fault. It's not Israel's fault.
No, we understand. We understand that part, that yes, Hamas started it and all of that, but it's just more towards, having that empathy for the civilians.
I have the empathy for the civilians being killed, and
yeah, but I feel like especially Israeli people. I feel like the hate for Hamas it kind of overweighs the empathy that you have for the civilians, because every time it's brought up, you're talking about, make Hamas do this, Hamas should surrender, Hamas should this, so civilians wouldn't be killed.
Can you understand why civilians, specifically in Gaza, why civilians in Israel have a lot of animosity towards the people in Gaza after what happened on October 7th, after they've seen thousands and thousands of them celebrating and parading dead Israeli bodies down the street, giving candy like it was a holiday? Can you blame the Israeli people for seeing? And I saw all the footage. Disgusting. I'm furious.
How come those footage didn't make it to the news or anything? I mean, just now when Iran celebrated, 4 hours later, it was on the news.
It's being suppressed by the media because nobody wants to show what's happening on the Israeli side, but everybody wants to show what's happening on the Palestinian side.
By the whole world. I'm pretty sure the media would be on kind of your side, especially the American media.
Most of the
as your allies.
Most of the American media is not on our side. Some people are on our side, but the majority of the media is against Israel. It's completely against Israel. Yeah.
You're saying if you want these footages,
Can you type on your free time Hamas atrocities on Telegram and join a group? There's about 1,200 people there. You'll see all the graphic images that Hamas themselves documented on October 7th with dead women, dead children, disgusting acts. Everything is documented. And guess what? Hamas documented everything. They filmed everything with GoPros and it's on there. And once you see it, you'll be like, what the hell did I support? Why am I supporting this?
Cool. Well, I mean, I can't make further comments as I'm not the most educated in this. I think I've made it clear I'm all for the civilians and whatnot. So have you got any questions or anything?
No, I think this, I understand I respect the fact that you were listening, because most people just don't listen and dash back. So thank you for listening. And I hope you can actually look up what I just said, the Hamas atrocities on Telegram. It's a folder with all the media, all the documents. Prepare a bucket because it's disgusting. You'll probably throw up.
Wow. And people are asking if you're Jewish.
I am Jewish, yes. Are you streaming also?
Yeah.
Beautiful. How many people you have on the stream?
Oh, just about my 6 friends.
Oh, your 6 friends? I'm also streaming.
Oh, that why you wanted me to ask him about his religion, to tell me you studied it. Cool.
I'm also streaming, brother. In case it wasn't clear.
Yeah, no, it was 100% clear. I mean, that camera, all my days.
Official Sahar TV. Let's go. Protect the Jews, fight the